Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Last Call. I am the host today, sitting in for the incredible Kelly Stewart, and we have got a great show for you all. Gianni the Greek will be joining us, and Steve Merrill as well. But before we get into any of that, I do want to make mention of some important sports book information. John Murray won't be joining us today, but I did get a note from him, and he is telling us that they need Dallas big, and the Bears big, and the Packers big. So the Westgate Superbook clearly need the Bears, the Packers, and Dallas to win. And we've seen those line moves already. Washington is now -1. Suggests Jaden Daniel is going to play, and Dallas up to +5, and Green Bay taking some money down to -3.5. Let's see if Gianni is in play on any of those three games. How are you, my friend? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. So you said that they need Green Bay, so they got Jaguar money, they got Washington money, and they got Niner money. You said, correct?
Correct.
So I'm on the Jaguars. I did take the 4.5. We got a 4% play on Jacksonville at +4.5. And I do have the Bears. That was a bad bet because I laid the money line. I laid -125. I now could get +1. I did it earlier in the week when they did go up to about 2.5, I think. But since then, obviously, based on the close, I did not place a good bet on the Bears. But I do have both of those. I'm on Jacksonville and on Chicago. I don't have anything on the Sunday night game just yet, Prez.
Guys, if you've got any questions for the great Gianni or myself, feel free to ask away. Happy to discuss every game. And Gianni, a quick question. Listen, it's not an actionable betting question, but I'm so fascinated by your skill in the sport. How often do you get bad bets in?
I'd say a minimum 1 out of 10 bets is bad.
Right.
At least 1 out of 10, I would say, is a bad bet. That I maybe even more than that sometimes, less than that others. But at minimum, 10% of the bets I probably shouldn't have placed or were bad. I'd say where the line closes worse than me. Maybe even 2 out of 10 times the line will close worse than what I got in at. That's how I grade a bad bet. If I could get a better number later.
Does it eat you up, man?
Destroys me. Honestly, Prez, it kills me. It kills me more than anything else. Like now I have that that Bears bet. And even if they cover, I know I'm the product of good luck. It wasn't a good bet because I got +1 today. And I laid 125 to get pick'em. That's not good. That's not
Gianni, Gianni always dishing out the gold. Yeah, you should hear him on Wager Talk today on Fridays. Gianni, we got to talk Wong teasers. We spoke about this on the Wager Talk Today show. Royce, nice. I love that name, by the way, Royce. Beautiful name. He's in the chat room right now, and he asks teasers, talk teasers. So let's go. Wong teaser from you.
Remember, we don't tease in week 1 because the lines are up there way too long. They're efficient. We just always take that off. We go week 2, 3, 4, and onward. Since week 2, here's what they've done: 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 5-0, 4-0, and 3-0. Bottom line, they're 24-6 at going into week 8. How do I Wong? I don't Wong till today. Today, and not even yet. My guys in the steam room, they're waiting until 12:30 p.m. Eastern for us to finalize our Wong teasers. Why? Because we want it to be against the most efficient, sharpest number the sportsbook has. Why? Because we're not trying to beat the number. We're not trying to beat the close. We're not handicapping the game. We don't care about the matchup. All we care about is, can we tease through the numbers 3, 4, 6, 7? And is the total low? We're still going to bet it even if the total's higher, but the lower the total, the stronger we feel about it. Right. That's all we care about. Right. And That's why we want to do it late Sunday, Prez, because if I did it earlier in the week, some of these games that were at 7.5, they're no longer there anymore. Some that were at 8, they're no longer there. Why? Because there's injuries, because there's weather. The markets become more efficient. That's what we want. We want a strong closing line, because the way you hit a teaser is when the game falls near the line. The highest probability that the game will fall near the number is when it's most efficient. It's most efficient at the close. That's what it took years for me to finally get that piece down of the Wong teaser, Prez. I almost didn't want to share it, because if you go back and we back tested it and just did it against the close, the results are ridiculous. So here's what you got so far today. If these stick as of the next 20 minutes, we're going to be on Baltimore -1.5. We're going to be on Tampa Bay +8. We're going to be on Philadelphia +8.5, and we're going to be in Kansas City -2. Those are the 4 teams that fall under the Wong teaser as of right now. Baltimore, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, Kansas City. You don't want to lay more than 130. You're going to try to find 125s or 120s. You'll beat -130, but your edge is a lot smaller. But when you're Wonging, the handicap don't matter. Don't matter one bit what side you like. Just tease the number. You'll do just fine. Do it over every single year. You'll print money. There's nothing they could do, which is why you see they try to move off those Wong numbers. But, people are teasing bad numbers, so they don't care. Sorry, Prez.
Oh, no, brother. Vince Lind writes, New York Giants, Dallas. And I just wanted to point out, that to me is the bailout teaser of week 8 right there, Gianni. And I know that we speak about crossing 3 and 7, but crossing 7 and 10 are important as well. And I like Dallas and the Giants as a teaser myself. And that's probably, I have a teaser for my clients, but that would be my second favorite teaser of the week. Any thoughts on that one?
The New York Football Giants, you said?
Yeah.
That's tomorrow night, though, right? That's teasing them up.
That still counts. I don't bet by date.
No. I just don't like the number. I don't. If you like the Giants, I get it. I just don't like using the teaser for it. I do.
Now, why not? Why not tease? Why not tease LA Chargers? Asks one of our viewers.
Because the Wong doesn't help me. I'm not going through 7. I'm at 7. That doesn't count. We don't want that. It has to fall perfect. We're only teasing down 7.5, 8, 8.5, and we're teasing up 1.5, 2, and 2.5. That's it.
Right.
Nothing else. It's simple rules. You want to make sure like that the number, it's against the sharp books. So you want to look at Pinnacle, you want to look on Bet Online, and you want to look at Circa. Those 3 are what you're Wonging against. You don't look at, one book did have 7.5 or 2 of the books had 8.5. They're square books. What's the market shut to let you know? You want to be very selective with the Wong. That's how you do damage.
Gianni, one of our listeners asks, Barry Gross, great question. What do you do? You mentioned 4 teams. How do you attack that Wong teaser? Is this a Wong wound wobbin? I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
I couldn't have put it better. That's six 2-team teasers right there. You have six perfect combinations. That's all it is. If you want to unload that many, that's what I do. I do exactly what you just said, the round robin, because I trust in the long-term success of this. So I try to tease as much as possible. So I'll tease Baltimore, Tampa, Baltimore, Philly, Baltimore, KC, Tampa, Philly, Tampa, KC, Philly, KC. There's 6 teasers right there. Just gave them to you.
Gianni, the Greek, joining us, everyone. And we still have Steve Merrill coming. And we'll go through every game. You ask a question, we will answer it. Mr. Humble wants to know your opinion on the Miami Dolphins. And I'll tell you, Gianni, both you and I have a lot of people we respect in our world. And there's a lot of, I'm going to say, smart, wise money coming in on the Dolphins right now. Where are you at?
Yeah, and before I jump off, give me a second to read off any props team totals that I have for the listeners, because those usually do really well. I'm on Miami. I could not agree with you more, Prez. Not only did I get down on Miami at -4, but one of the groups that I work with actually came in and steamed Miami again today at -4, which made me feel a lot more comfortable because these are the guys that get way ahead of the market. So they'll lay the 3, they'll lay the 3.5. But for them to come in on game day and lay it made me feel a lot more confidence. I thought the number may have gotten away from me on Miami, but I like them. I like them a lot.
Gianni, okay, brother. So no Steve yet, but I know you've got the steam room underway. It's for clients only. What other information do you want to share with us before we let you go?
All right, just because I love you guys and Prez is stepping in, I'm going to give you team totals that are premium plays that I don't add in the card. These are only for subscribers, but they're premium plays. These are full game team totals. Are you ready? So all of these are good up to -125. Detroit Lions under 28.5. Baltimore Ravens under 27.5. Falcons under 24.5. Jets under 24.5. And Chargers under 24.5. So that's Lions under, Ravens under, Falcons under, Jets under, Chargers under. 28.5, 27.5, 24.5, 24.5, and 24.5. Real quickly, first half team totals. These I don't release as premium plays because they're just hard to get. Not enough books offer first half team totals, but if available, we went under 13 in the Jets. Notice we went under first half and under full game in the Jets. We went under 13 first half for the Bengals, and then finally under 14 first half for the Broncos. And 2 props. This are tackles and assists. Detroit Lions, Brian Branch, under 6.5 tackles, under 6.5 tackles and assists, up to -125. And in the Chargers game, Derwin James Jr., under 7.5 tackles and assists, under up to -125. And right now, if you're looking at your screen, this is going to light up. MLS Soccer, Orlando City, -0.5, good all the way up to -120. Orlando City in MLS.
Gianni, I know you got to go, dude. Real quick, brother. Are you making in-game bets all day? Because it really feels to me like you have an insane amount of bets in play. I probably would just go to sleep when game time started. I would not be able to function nor keep up with what's going on. I'm guessing you've still got a whole day of bets to play.
Yeah, and I'm going to church today after the games kick off at 10 o'clock, but I'm done out of there by 11:15 because I got to be available for the second halves. I can't give those to subscribers because it's just so time sensitive, but these guys come in and they bet second halves, mostly team totals in the second half. It used to be all sides and totals, but now they're hitting the team totals as well, and those do very well, and that's why I've had to be, around for them. So yeah, the job doesn't end once they kick off because These guys are doing exactly what you said, and like you touched on, I got a bunch of sides and totals that I bet and still more late games. So yeah, I'm in action all day today, Prez. But what could be better than that? Who's complaining?
No, dude. Listen, enjoy church. I've been once. I went to Reverend Al Green. I went to Reverend Al Green's church in Memphis 3 years ago for Sunday Mass, and it was one of the highlights of my life. And I'm Jewish. You
don't go to synagogue? You don't go to synagogue?
No. I don't. I don't pray. I don't.
Those are private things. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ask. I was just saying.
No. It's all good, dude.
Church is good. You feel good. When I leave, I feel good. I feel good.
Listen,
did I ever tell you about my friend? I got to share this story really quick. That was here for March Madness, and we're in the room, and it was Good Friday, and I was ready to order food for everybody. I'm like, dude, what do you want? Do you want a cheesesteak too? And he's like, dude, what the fuck? No, man, it's Good Friday. I ain't eating meat. So I said, oh, cool, you're right, no problem. So I order him something else. After I get off the phone, what does this dude do? He calls a hooker. Swear, couldn't make this story up. So he can't eat meat on Good Friday, but he could pay for a hooker. That was okay. Yeah, figured out.
But he could eat fish.
Yeah. I loved it. Good one.
Punchline, Gianni.
You probably don't want to do that with a pro, but yeah.
I love you, bro.
I love you more, man.
That's a great freaking point. He found the punchline, everybody. Kick ass today, Gianni. I love having you with us. One of our viewers, Gene Della, keeps asking about the Packers and the Jags. And Gianni did mention at the top of the show that he likes the Jags, and I like the Jags as well. We already heard from the Westgate that they need the Pack. They've taken a lot of money on the Jags. This line came out at 5 originally and is now down to 3.5. And look, I get it, man. This is really a tough spot for Green Bay. And I know that they have a bye coming up, but they've got Detroit, Chicago, and San Fran waiting in the wings their next 3 games after that. I don't think we're going to get them at full intensity today. And then the question really becomes, are the Jags at 8? Are the Pack at 80% capable of covering 3.5 against Jacksonville at home? And I don't think they are. I think this is one of those get-right games for Jacksonville. We did see them put up 30-plus on the Patriots last week. And yes, I know punt return, this, that, and the other, but whatever the case may be, it's still equated to 30-plus points on a pretty stellar defense. And Trevor Lawrence's numbers are not nearly as bad as people think they are. Pat Mahomes' numbers are worse. So, I think Fabio is going to lead Jacksonville to a win today. I could see them win outright. So my opinion on this game is the Jags are the play. Tony A asks, Prez, do you have a 5% today? Yes, I do, Tony. And I'll give you a promo code real quick if you want to purchase that play. I actually have an incredible card lined up for you guys. I got 6 plays altogether, and I'm still looking at the Dallas game. But if you guys want to buy my package of 6 plays and get $10 off, use the promo code KICK10. That is KICK10. Thank you for asking that question. And Dan, please let me know when Steve Merrill is with us. We've had a lot of line move. Jets. Somebody wants to know about. Oh, Andrew, I got your message about Flesh. Yes, my friend. R.I.P. Phil. Sad day, that's for sure. But hey, 84 years old, and what a wonderful life he led. What do I think about the Jets? Not much, to be honest with you. A line hasn't moved at all, and I would lean on the Patriots here. Firstly, look, I'm mad at the Jets, and I'm mad at Aaron Rodgers, but Drake May has been able to move the ball. I think last game he was, I think it was like, and this is offhand, I have no notes, like 29 for 37, 295, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, those are really stellar numbers. And this is game 3 for him, so he's only going to get better. I don't know what's going on with this Jets team. They're out of sync offensively. Their defense last week did not look great either, taking a major step back since Salah was let go. Division game, road home team getting 7. I'll take the Patriots in this game. Lots of money coming in on the Lions over the last half hour. Since I got on the show, we got a 13 on the board. There's still minus 11s, 11 and a halves out there, minus 12s and minus a 13 at one book. So clearly money coming in on the Lions and money coming in on Cleveland right now. Baltimore bet down to minus 7.5. They were at 9. Money coming in on Las Vegas. Now Kansas City from 10 to 8.5. A money bet on Denver. Denver is now at minus 11. I love watching these moves in real time, and you can watch these moves in real time over at our WagerTalk odds screen. Steve Merrill joining us, and guys, ask your questions. We'll get into the answers. Steve, I feel like you and I talk a lot throughout the week. How are you, man? How was yesterday?
Oh, yesterday was awful, actually. 0-3, and everybody let me know, and I reminded them we were 10-3 just a couple weeks ago in college football. And what's crazy, Prez, about this is that we're still up over the last 6 days because I went 4-0 this week in baseball and basketball right before that. So, and in fact, going back to the AL NLCS, I'm 7-0 the last several weeks in baseball and basketball combined. But the 0-3 college football day is what everyone wants to talk about, right? So it just shows the importance of taking a long-term approach. And look, everybody's been with me for the years, up at like 170 units still this year in all sports. So, I mean, most people are extremely happy still. But just amazes me. The best comment, though, Prez, because as you know, I read all the comments and I reply back to all the videos and the shows, including this one, is my top 25 video did very well. All my last cuts went 6-2, by the way. That's how it works, right? You go 0-3, and the other games all go 6-2. You know how that works. But somebody blamed me because the one miss I had in the top 25 was Texas not covering. And they said, you ruined my parlay on Vandy, or my 16 parlay. And I was like, well, first of all, I didn't ruin your parlay, because second of all, parlays are sucker bets and I always tell you not to play them. But that's just kind of how much fun we have in the comments in recent weeks.
Yeah, dude, poker on Friday night, and a guy had a 9-team parlay, and he needed the Portland Trail Blazers just to win the game on the money line for the 9th leg of that parlay. It was like a $50 bet that paid $7,500, I think it was. And he refused to hedge. He refused to cash out. Yeah, he refused. And he lost. And according to him, it was Portland's fault. Yeah, we'll go with that. It was Portland's fault that you went 8-1 and lost money on the night. Yeah. Way to go, genius. Guys, welcome everybody to the chat room, and names that I haven't seen before. Edward Muger, Danny Savage, I've seen your name. Kenneth Peller, Dino, Kendrick Black, Richard Lockhart. Really, Curtis, really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to join us. John Hagan, Biplap, really love that you guys are here with us today. If you don't mind taking a second out of your day to hit that like button, it would be greatly appreciated. We got lots more to go through. Ask your questions, guys. Steve, let's talk about the Eagles here. This is a really interesting game for me because it feels to me like both of these teams have kind of turned around out of syncness, if you will. With Brown and Smith coming back, we saw the Eagles find some kind of offense. But when you look at the numbers, I mean, Jalen Hurts, I think he put up 100 yards last week in the passing game. And yet 45 of them was a long bomb touchdown. Cincinnati has also turned it around, but kind of in an other direction. This is a team that was lighting it up offensively and terrible defensively. Now they're lights out defensively, but hey, they did play Cleveland and the Giants, and are struggling offensively. Line really hasn't moved, although we do have a -3 in one spot. How are you betting this game?
Well, first of all, I think the key to what you just said is that they played the Giants and the Browns. And guess what? The Eagles also played the Giants and the Browns their last 2 games. So very interesting scheduling spot here with that dynamic that they played the exact same 2 teams the last couple of weeks. I don't really care about looking like at a common opponent aspect. What I'm looking at here is the fact that they played 2 horrifically bad offenses. So I do think both the Bengals and Eagles defenses probably aren't quite as good as they've looked in recent weeks. I do think the Bengals offense is heating up like you've talked about overall. They are a dangerous offensive team, and we know that this Bengals team has always started slow. And Burrow misses the preseason year after year. They always start 0-2, 0-3, whatever, and then turn it on. This year, the same thing, an 0-3 start, and they're 3-1 straight up their last 4. Now, granted, they beat the Panthers, the Giants, and the Browns, and they lost to the Ravens, but that was a close game. And I think this will be a close game as well. And I think there'll be some points also. I don't think neither of these defenses are quite as good as they've looked the last couple of weeks against Cleveland and New York.
Steve, the biggest line move of the day, we're going to go right to that game, and then we'll ask Josh Weaver's question. The biggest line move clearly is on Washington, Chicago. We had a +3 for Washington. I woke up this morning, it was -1. That has to be based on Jaden Daniels playing. And the interesting thing from my perspective, Steve, because I like Washington, is I'd rather play Washington +3 with Marcus than Washington -1 with Daniels. Any thoughts on this game?
This is a game that was the one public underdog this week in my Fade the Public video, but it wasn't an official public play. I gave it kind of as an additional lean. And one of the things I mentioned is that I've learned over the years when looking at the consensus data, you have to be so careful with these games that have quarterback situation. The other dog, by the way, that kind of popped this week also was Arizona, and that's because Tua's back for Miami, so that line's higher than the public realizes. And this is exactly why you have to be so cautious with these type of games, because when I did that video on Friday, we put it up yesterday on Saturday, it was, like you said, Washington +3. The look-ahead line a week ago, before Daniels was injured, a bettable look-ahead line in many books last week was Washington -1.5. And like you said, that's where it's closing near now with Daniels likely back in the lineup. So it's gone back and forth. I don't know if he's fully healthy. Mariota looked fantastic last week. Granted, it was against the Panthers, and the Bears have now had a week to prepare. I do like the situational setup, though, for Chicago, because they're coming off the bye week. You can make an argument, when you've played 3 straight really good games, you didn't need the bye, but I think it was still at a good time for them. They're a young team. Caleb Williams is starting to play much better football those last 3 wins. And I think with the extra week off, the offense will be there. I used the over. I did a free play video on this, which is still up here on WagerTalk TV. And I think the over makes sense. And with Daniels back, if he is healthy, I probably like the over better for that reason now.
Yeah, I mean, well said on the over in this game. And it really hasn't moved that much, which is interesting because if Jaden Daniels was playing, I would have thought we would have seen a 2-3 point line move towards the over because, this Washington team with him in lights out offensively. Josh Weaver
has real quick on that.
Go ahead.
The look-ahead line last week was 47, and when I did that video the other day, it was 43, and now it's 46. So we are kind of seeing it come back to where it probably would be with Daniels. So once again, point spread and total are pretty much where it was a week ago now. So it looks like Daniels is playing, even though he's, I think, not officially been announced. I'm not sure.
Well, I'll tell you flat out, if Daniels plays and you guys can get a 46 out there, I think that's one of the best bets on tap because regardless of how good Chicago's defense is, I don't think Daniels is stoppable right now, Steve. Let's turn our attention to Josh Weaver's question. We love having these questions, guys. Thank you for doing this. A lot of fun for everybody. So I'm really struggling with the Colts versus Houston. No idea how to go on that. And I'll tell you right off the bat, Josh, I'm really struggling with this game as well. We have seen a lot of money come in on the Colts. This is now down to -5 across the board. Steve, I got nothing on this game. I mean, I could make something up and tell you I like Houston, but I kind of don't. So this is a outright pass for me. Do you have anything for Josh?
So we're all in consensus on this one because I covered 6 games in my NFL Fade the Public video. I did 2 other solo videos, and then I have 2 client best bets for this Sunday. So I'm covering 10 games between the videos and the client best bets, and this is not one of them. So kind of know how I feel on this as well. And look, I've said this for years. The one edge you have as a sports bettor versus the odds makers, the biggest edge you have is that you can pick and choose which games you play where they have to put numbers up on every game. And this was a game I kind of passed pretty quick on. Coming into the season, I was looking to play against Houston. They had a monster year last year after being the second worst team in the NFL the year before. They make the playoffs. I always look for a team like that to maybe regress, come back down to earth, especially with a sophomore quarterback. Last week, one of my last cuts was Green Bay, -3 at 2.5. I probably would have used it. They win by 2, so luckily I left it off my card. So I've been kind of wish-washy on Houston so far this season.
Yeah, listen, guys, I did the NFL presidential address. It's up now, and I did give out Indianapolis at +7, but man, that +7 is so long gone, and I am not on a +5 right now on that at all. So my suggestion is move on. Before we get into Titans' question, I want to address AK Piff in the chat room. He asked, so do Sharps do 5 one-teamers instead of 5-team parlay? The answer is hell yes, times 10, multiplied by another 50 hell yeses. No Sharps are doing 5-team parlays ever. I mean, ever.
Correct.
So they might occasionally throw in like a 2-3 team money line, huge favorite parlay, but that's probably where it ends. I will say this, guys, real quick on parlays, and I understand you guys do them, and I get it, and it's fine. It is a losing proposition, but if you are going to do a parlay, only a 3-team parlay. It is the only parlay that is it is the closest to true odds out of any parlay. A 2-team parlay pays you 2.6 to 1, and it has 4 potential outcomes. Therefore, it is a 4-to-1 bet that pays you 2.6 to 1. A 3-team parlay pays you 6-1, and it has 8 potential outcomes. Therefore, it is an 8-1 parlay. It is the closest parlay to true odds. If you're going to lose your money doing parlays, try stick to 3-teamers. Okay. So, Titans, CT, Pat's going to shock the world. I think so. And I said it earlier, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, nothing surprises me anymore in the NFL. The public has been crushing it the last few weeks. This is actually a game that did not make the public video. I do see some sentiment on the Jets, though. So now that it's pretty much 7 across the board, it looks like we have a 7 minus 15 to the sharp book. At 7.5 or more, I think you maybe do step in with the Pats. I mean, like you said earlier, Prez, when I was jumping on, is like, what's going on with the Jets, right? I mean, is this a team we really want to be laying a touchdown with on the road? Patriots are bad. They get behind. They don't have a lot of offense, but I'm not in a hurry to lay a touchdown with the Jets on the road against anybody.
Yeah, we're on the same page here. Brett Skomsky just won a 5-team parlay for $5,900. And way to go, Brent. I'm absolutely thrilled. I have a buddy, Nardi, who has won 2 6-team parlays in the last month. Anybody who tells me that they won a 5, 6, 7, 8, 20-team parlay is a guy that is on his way to losing all his money. So feel the moment, enjoy the moment, embrace the moment, and now take your $5,900 and bet only single plays. Chevy Abra, can you talk about the Lions and Titans game? And Steve, I already mentioned we got a lot of money coming in on the Lions today, and I'm with them, dude. People are talking about a look-ahead spot for Detroit. This is a bad spot if they're going to have a letdown. Yeah, Dan Campbell does not have letdown, Steve. This is, in my opinion, the best coach in all of football, maybe the best coach in professional sports. This is not only a coach that understands tic-tac-toe, X's and O's, how to get people open. He understands motivation at the highest level. Do not ever bet a Dan Campbell team based on this notion that it is going to be a letdown spot. It will not be. They will come out flying. And I expect Detroit to cover the 12 here. You?
Yeah, this is a game, obviously, that made my fade the public video. In fact, the Lions are the most public play this week. And I had a great comment when I was looking just a little while ago, because once again, I read the comments, I reply back on all these shows, all the videos. I love the interaction. And I really do believe we have some of the smartest and sharpest viewers right here on WagerTalk TV. And somebody chimed in, this line is going higher. He's like, but they were kind of wrong. They said the Lions aren't a public play because the sharps are on them as well. Everyone's on them. And I go, well, you're right. The sharps just don't always fade the public. We don't all just fade the public. But the public is all over Detroit, but the sharp money looks like it is too. This is a very one-sided game. The sports books will need Tennessee. I'm not playing this game. If I had to play it, I would go contrarian. But I'll tell you one of the reasons I do so well in all sports. I'm selective, and I don't play bad teams anymore, Prez. And your life is so much better when you don't play bad teams in any sport. And last week, the public crushed it last week. They crushed it the week before. Didn't hurt me. I went 1-1 last Sunday. I didn't fade any of these. And it's the same thing this week. I can't make a case for the Titans. If this was college football, I wouldn't touch them because they have a terrible offense, a backup quarterback. They can't catch up. And then, like you said, Detroit has the best point spread record in the league the last few years. They don't take their foot off the gas. In college football, I'd probably be looking for a reason to play the Lions in this game. But the NFL is a little different. I know it's never as obvious as it looks. But, yeah, I can't make a case for the Titans other than the scheduling spot. And it's not just the look ahead. It's just all these games in a row they're coming off as well. I mean, this is not a good spot to be a big favorite. Back-to-back road games at Dallas, at Minnesota. That was a huge win last week. At Green Bay coming up, like you mentioned. I could see Detroit winning this game and not covering, but those aren't the type of games that make best bets. I don't play underdogs. I just hope stay within the 11, 12 points.
Yeah, and guys, just to give you perspective, since Dan Campbell came in, and I'm a giant fan of Dan Campbell, and I've become a fan of the Detroit Lions, 42-18 against the spread. Steve, that's since 2021.
There are probably some letdown spots there.
Yeah, find me a team in professional sports since 2021 that has been a better bet than 42-18, and they are 18-8 as a favorite. So, as a dog, this has been free money. The problem is, I don't think we're going to see Detroit as a dog. very often. Maybe if they head over to Kansas City, but yeah, I'm not looking at betting against Detroit. Vegas Girl Slots. She clearly has a vlog going. She wants to know about the Seahawks game, Steve. And man, I tell you, this to me is a fascinating game because, I feel like with Amari Cooper coming in, and I think we saw Buffalo kind of get into rhythm. James Cook is playing incredible, and I think Buffalo is now rolling out a much more balanced offense. But I got to look at the home dog here, Steve. And I know Metcalf isn't playing, but +3, the Seattle team is a good football team. And they are capable, and this is really important when looking at teams like Jacksonville, +3.5 against Green Bay. Who can cover, who can walk through the back door? That's the key question here. Seattle down by 9, down by, 10. They got the ball, 2 minutes to go in the game. Buffalo's in prevent. Are we going to get a backdoor? So not only do I think Seattle can outright cover this game, but I think the back door is there for them as well. I would look at taking Seattle +3 here, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the backdoor cover is very simple. You want a team that can move the ball offensively, especially through the air, right? And that's why I was talking about how Tennessee scares you as a big dog, because when they get behind, they can't catch up. Seattle definitely can. They throw the ball well. They can move the ball. But I'll stay with that offensive theme. You look at this line. A week ago, the look-ahead was 3. It's still 3. The look-ahead over-under last week was 48. Now it's 45. So the point spread hasn't moved, but the total's dropped a full field goal.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one result, Prez, I can't get out of my mind still, is that Giants game a few weeks ago. The Giants had all those injuries. They go in there and they not only they win outright as a 7-point dog, but they put up over 400 yards of offense, and they've been just miserable since, including last week. They had like 140 total yards last week. So the Seattle defense, I still don't trust. We saw Buffalo in that Monday nighter against Jacksonville a month ago score with 5 straight touchdowns to start. I think both teams can move the ball in this game. The fact that total's gone down from 48 to 45 this week, I would lean over here. I think there's some value, and I'm just not trusting the Seattle defense.
Steve Merrill joining us, everyone. Steve, a couple of more games to go, but real quick, what do you have going for the clients today?
Yeah, I've got 2 strong NFL plays up right now. They're early kickoffs, so you're watching us live. Go get them. Don't miss them. One side, one total. And as I mentioned, you really should consider all sports. Baseball and basketball combined a perfect 7-0 over the last several weeks, including a 3-0 start to the NBA on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All week long, Prez. We're talking about a Tuesday when I said how to beat the NBA. I did a segment on WagerTalk today, and then I came out and went a perfect 3-0 to start the season. Up over 200 units in the NBA alone the last 3 years, and number 1 all-time in profit in the history of WagerTalk in just pro basketball. College and pro football entered this week number 1 on the year. Baseball, number 1 units 1 on the year. Get in all sports. And right now, $50 off instantly for the Prez, for myself, Steve Merrill, anybody. But it's through this weekend only. Instant $50 discount on a 30-day all access. And by the way, Prez, that comes out to the exact price for football only. So you're basically getting all the other sports for free with that $50 discount on the 30-day all access. No promo code needed. Check it out right now, wagertalk.com.
I love it, man. And guys, honestly, like you buy a month of Steve, you're making money. Okay, so Richie Rich, any chance of the Raiders winning here? Let me answer the question this way, Richie. If Kansas City goes undefeated and wins the Super Bowl, this is the game they lose. I don't know why and I don't know how, but these are the strange things that happen in sports betting. With that said, I don't think Kansas City goes undefeated, and I don't think they win the Super Bowl. So, yeah, no, I don't think the Raiders are winning this game, but I have a bet for you here in this game, Richie, and that is the under, and it has been bet up from 41 to 42. And, I like the under in this game, Steve, and I also like the Raiders team total under. And what people need to take into account, especially with the Raiders team total, is not only is Kansas City rolling out probably the best defense in all of football, but the Kansas City offense is holding onto the ball. And this is really important when betting unders. They are using all 3 downs to move the chains. They are eating through the clock, and they're ending these long 7-8 minute drives with field goals and not touchdowns. 42 is a big number. I would be surprised if the Raiders put up more than 13 points. I think you are good to bet the Raiders team total under and the entire game under. And always look to bet Kansas City in the second half if they are tied or down, no matter who they play. Andy Reid is the greatest second half coach of all time. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's weird. The look-ahead line a week ago in this game was 10, and now it's 8.5. And Minshew's at quarterback. And I'm a Minshew fan, actually, not only because he wears short shorts, but just because I think he's actually a little bit of an underrated quarterback. But he was horrendously bad last week against the Rams. 3 interceptions. His quarterback rating, Prez, was 21.0. I didn't know you could have a QB. I thought it was like the SATs. I thought you got automatically like a 40 just for taking a snap. Buyer beware. You're right about the Chiefs under, by the way. They've gone under in every game this season except those first 2 games, which went over by about a field goal or less each time. So they've been a huge money maker this year. And, that Raider offense is going to probably struggle today.
There we go. We got another game we want to talk about. I don't know who put it up, but it was the Carolina-Denver game. Brent, my man, with the $5,900 parlay win. Way to go, Brent, again. Congratulations. So Carolina and the Broncos, Steve, I'll tell you right off the bat, and I took this game apart in great detail on the NFL presidential address. I like the under in this game, and I like it a lot, Steve. This baffles me. Now, I understand that Carolina has the worst defense in all of football. I get it. But, man, like 28-10. 33-3, 36-0, 36-3. All of these numbers still equate to an under. Now, do I think the Broncos are going to blow this team out? I don't, and I don't like the side here. But, man, I think that Carolina is going to struggle to score, and I think Denver is going to run this game as if it's a get-out-of-Dodge game. Win and move on. I think we're going to see a very low scoring game here. And it's been bet down. This was 43.5 up until a few days ago. It's now 41. The line has taken value away, but I can't add the score up to 41. Steve, what about you?
Well, I talk about those look-ahead lines from a week ago. And by the way, it's not just DraftKings anymore. Several other books, including our friend Arthur DeCesar at the Superbook, they put an advanced line up the week before for all next week's games, for example, have been up all week. Most of the books had 4.5 last week, and it's now 11. I mean, that's as big as a move I've seen in recent years on a look-ahead line from one week to the next in the NFL, especially this late in the season, and especially when the starting quarterback is coming back for a team, which is what's so insane. But that is part of the move here because Andy Dalton is out. What was it, a thumb injury on some kind of automobile accident? I don't know what happened. I don't even care. But Bryce Young is back. He is horrible. And like you said, the offense is bad. But to put in perspective what a terrible team this is, not only is their offense horrendous, like you said, Prez, their defense is really bad as well. The total look ahead, by the way, last week, I believe, was around 43. And now, like you said, it's 40.5. It's gone below that very key number of 41, though, in a lot of spots. What's interesting, though, Prez, if you look at the team totals on the WagerTalk live odds screen, 24.5 juiced heavy to the over for Denver, 14.5 juiced heavy to the under. That total's 39, but obviously the juice comes into play. Panthers under 14.5. I know it seems kind of obvious, and it's a very low team total, but Bryce Young in the altitude, they've just been so bad. This is a huge fade the public spot once again. But what's interesting, Prez, if you take out the Panthers this year, the public's been pretty much break even. They've made all their money. Actually, this is how they've made their money this year. Fading Carolina and playing the Commanders. If you take those two teams out, the public has actually lost overall on all the other games I've had in that video. So this is not a Carolina team that you look to play just by fading the public. And their only winning cover this year was against the Raiders, which once again puts into perspective how struggling the Raiders have had. Their recent weeks have been pretty bad as well.
Steve Merrill, everyone. Teasing the NFL, is New Orleans worth the play? I think so. +7 is way too many points. This Chargers team is not a scoring juggernaut. So, yeah, and the total is super low. So 7 feels like a good number. I would take New Orleans there, tease. Okay, Steve, what a fun show, man. Shout out to Kelly Stewart for letting me sit in for her today. What a pleasure. I had an absolute freaking blast. I'd like to wish you the best today. I hope every ball bounces your way unless you're on a game that is against mine. I have 6 client plays up for my clients. And I have 3 going in the late grouping. You can use the promo code KICK10 if you want my plays. That's $10 off my package. Steve, you've promoted. Thank you for joining us, brother. Shout out to Gianni the Greek for joining us as well. And all of you guys for being with us today, Sunday. Kick ass, everybody. Keep the parlays to a bare minimum. Don't be greedy. Don't chase. And enjoy the process. We'll see you all on Wager Talk today, tomorrow, noon Eastern.